Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2020 Netflix TV show The Haunting of Bly Manor, which is of course the follow-up show to The Haunting of Hill House. Once again we have Mike Flanagan at the helm here, who was the creator obviously of the first one. I don't think he directs all of them, I think he just directed maybe one episode this time round. And we have a cast of Victoria Pendrete, Oliver Jackson Cohen. We also have Amelia Eve, Tanaya Miller, Ranul Kohli, Tamara Sharif, as well as Henry Thomas. Now, if some of those names sound familiar to you, then yes, some of the actors who were in Hill House make a return in this show. However, they are not playing the same characters, and they are cast in wholly different parts. Now, The Haunting of Bly Manor is essentially a retelling of the famous tale of the turning of the screw, which was also turned into a movie this year called The Turning, which I haven't seen yet, but I'm quite interested in seeing now after watching this show, even though it didn't get particularly good reviews, that movie. Now, so we get 9 episodes this time. I think Hill House might have been 10 episodes. I could be wrong there. And I remember watching Hill House and reviewing it last year, and I was super impressed with that show. However, I've just re-watched Hill House with my wife, who hadn't seen it first time round, and then we immediately watched Bly Manor following Hill House. And while I don't think Bly Manor is just as good as Hill House, I think it is an excellent high quality show, that is for sure. And this show focuses on Bly Manor, and in particular 2 kiddies, Flora and Miles, who have lost their parents essentially, and Henry Thomas, who plays their uncle, hires Victoria Pendrete as Danny, an American nanny essentially, to go in and look after these kids, because he doesn't want anything to do with it. He's got a real guilty conscience, which you learn about much later into the episodes, about episode 7 or something like that, why he feels so guilty. So she turns up at this house. She discovers that the previous nanny died. There is a housekeeper there, there's a cook, there's a gardener, and obviously the 2 kiddies. So you've got this whole dynamics going on. However, something is a little bit off. Something is a little bit sinister, as there are muddy footprints throughout the manor during the night. There are strange things going on, and in particular these 2 children are acting very, very strange. And this continues to escalate as the show continues, and obviously I don't want to give any spoilers away here. So my thoughts on Bly Manor, well, like I say, I don't think it is just as good as Hill House, and I nearly changed what I was going to say then, because they do feel like very different shows in many ways. It was a little bit jarring when it first started to see some of these actors that you recognise from Hill House turning up in Bly Manor, playing different roles, some of them doing dodgy accents as well. Certainly Henry Thomas had a bit of a dodgy English accent, I have to say. Although Oliver Jackson Cohen, I thought his Scottish accent was excellent, actually, pretty good. Pretty safe Scottish accent for an American actor to do, I suppose you could say. And I thought everybody else as well was pretty damn good in this show. I mean, really high quality performances by everybody. Tanaya Miller, who plays Mrs. Gross, was the housekeeper. Very, very strong performance. Everybody, they all complemented each other here. Now, the core of this story really is not so much a ghost story, it's more of a love story, this show. This time round, I certainly got that impression, and it focused heavily on that in the later episodes. But it was a bit of a slow burn the first 3 or 4 episodes. There was the odd jump here and there. There was the odd reminder that this was a supernatural show, I suppose. It was more like a drama. And then they'd do an odd little scare here and there, just to give you that nudge and say, by the way, you know, we're a supernatural show, we're going to scare you a bit as well, don't forget. So you did have that going on throughout. By episode 6, 7, you started piecing things together, and it started putting pieces of the puzzle together for you and helping you. And by the end, I thought they finished the show brilliantly. I really enjoyed how they finished the show. The final 2 episodes I thought were fantastic. The second to last episode gives you the full explanation of the spirits and stuff, if you like, at Bly Manor, and then the finishing final episode was actually not what I expected. It was like 2 episodes in one. It like finished off at Bly Manor, and then it did like an epilogue, if you like, at the end, which I thought was really nicely done. And at the beginning, very first episode, you see this ghost story being told at a wedding, and you kind of forget about that, even though there is a narrator. She is narrating it throughout the film, who played the mother in the first film and the first show. She's like the narrator throughout it, so you are reminded that she's narrating it every now and again. But then the very final episode, it all pieces it together beautifully, and I really liked how every piece of the puzzle was kind of left and put perfectly in the right places. I really enjoyed that, I have to say. So I thought this was a high quality show, really entertaining, looked beautiful. I mean, really beautiful, really high quality stuff. Top notch performances by everybody, even the kids' performances were brilliant. And the little girl played by Amelia B. Smith, who played Flora, when she kept saying perfectly splendid and stuff, it did quite get on your nerves, but in a good way, when she kept talking like that. But they did act really odd, these kids, so they really did work on their performances, and they would really pull it off as well, I have to say. So from my perspective, I really enjoyed this, like I say, and not just as much as Hill House. I think Hill House was a scarier show, a more supernatural, ghostly show than this one. But I still really enjoyed this one very much. And if you haven't seen it yet, certainly check out Hill House and Bly Manor. They both complement each other beautifully.